Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between 3 versus GhostDragon. 3 spawning as the teal Night Elf player here at what I'll call the 10 o'clock position. GhostDragon spawning as the purple Undead. Night Elf versus Undead matchup. If it feels like I've been casting a lot of those lately, well, it's because I have been. Warden going to be the hero of choice coming across from 3, opening things up, clearing out this sea giant turtle creep camp off to the north. Meanwhile, oldie but goodie Death Knight now out here on the map going after the sea giant creep camp as well. I think 2 of us can beat 3. Yeah, we'll see what's gonna end. Well, we'll see. We'll see what's happening. Hi, Wild Striker, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a good time. Warden picking up that ring of protection +3, going to be making its rounds out and about as well. The Warden, an agility-based hero, generally able to absorb quite a bit of damage through auto attacks. But while we all know that those hero spells from the Undead are able to rip through the hit points of a hero very, very quickly. Anyways, let's take a look at a level 2 Warden now making its way onto the battlefield, picking up a Cloak of Shadows, the least useful item for that Warden. Actually, now that I think about it, the Cloak of Shadows enables the Warden to now use that Shadow Meld ability during the day. As we can see, a Wisp about to get some Death Coils there, and you can see that that Wisp is trying to bait out a Death Coil and then turn into a building and retreat back. Death Knight is up to level 2, has 2 Gloves of Haste. We'll see if one of those Gloves of Haste will be transferred to that Lich or Dark Ranger a bit later. Down to the south side here, Warden building up an army of archers, going to continue to pelt down these Murlocs pretty easily. Good time. I'm forced to go YouTube because it's noisy outside yesterday. All right, well, it's all right. I totally understand. And, well, hopefully this will be a promising good game. It does come recommended by WarCraft 3 info, and I know I have been trusting my replay picker as of late, choosing really great games. But now that we've seen so many just highlighted great games, it almost feels weird to figure out which ones to recommend. Because if all of the games are decent or high quality games, then at what point does the overall caliber become a bit of an issue as the Warden gets down to 79 hit points and now being forced to retreat back? That Null Assassin spreading out that poison damage. That Archer still taking some. You're going to see it switch targets there and now perhaps try and chase back a little bit more. Warden does have 12 armor already, has level 2 Shadow Strike. It can go after some easy targets. Is going to pick up some additional items, Boots of Speed and Staff of Teleportation, as it wants to land a Shadow Strike on some totally low hit point units. Back off to the north, a bunch of archers have taken quite a bit of damage. They are going to get slowly healed back up as the Warden now goes after those acolytes. Halls of the Dead is already done. One acolyte quickly taken down as more acolytes are going to be forced to be trained. Are we going to see some more Shadow Strikes coming back across? Perhaps try to delay that tech to tier 2 as the Death Knight comes over with the Death Coil and the save on that acolyte here. All right, Warden could continue to blink around. There is actually a fair number of acolytes, 6 acolytes out here onto the battlefield, as the Warden currently just shadow melding here and, well, making it difficult to for that Death Knight to do any sort of creeping. Acolyte now making its way off to the north here could try and set up an expansion. Night Elf has no possibility of that whatsoever. And, well, the Lich should be coming by around with that Dust of Appearance. Death Coil, Frost Nova going to be coming in. And now we see that the Warden is going to be blinking away. Staff of Teleportation, one more shot. Or one more Death Coil could have perhaps finished her off. Instead, the Warden dropping that Mantle of Intelligence and perhaps going to try and refresh that strategy once more. It doesn't look like many acolytes were taken down, maybe one at the most, as the Warden now transitions back off to the north. Ancient of War in position to tank a lot of that damage, and an expansion could be placed down here in just a moment. Tech to tier 2 is already done with a tech to tier 3 following up. Meanwhile, Undead actually staying at tier 2 for a little while longer. Not something that I would have expected, staying at tier 2 for as long as he has, as normally tier 3 is incredibly important to open up that orb of corruption. Instead, this could be a tier 2 timing push coming in from the Undead. As we look at GhostDragon charging across the field and now bringing in, well, some ziggurats as well. Warden could easily go after that Acolyte there, trying to finish it off, and then this would stop this tower attempt as we see ziggurats are being placed down. All right, are we going to see a new Acolyte now perhaps try and make its way over? Yes, there is an Acolyte here. There is an Obsidian statue as well. One Obsidian statue out here on the battlefield. The Acolyte could easily repair, as this Acolyte perhaps is going to try and live to fight another day. No, the Death Knight had used a Death Coil on the Warden already, thereby not, well, having the cooldown issues to try and save that other target. Archers able to retreat back. This Ziggurat, however, looks like it will be done. And with that, the Blight will continue to spread, giving even more hit point regeneration power to the Undead here. A new Obsidian statue should be making its way out in just a moment. New Acolyte getting trained up to march out across the battlefield. That Blight is looking pretty strong. One Moonwell about to get taken down. As you can see, that Death Coil, or excuse me, that Shadow Strike, not really altogether that effective, especially against the Obsidian statue and the Death Knight here, able to just shake off that damage so quickly. 40 over 50 supply. Tech to tier 3 is already done. We're looking at mastery training on the Druid of the Claw, but there's and the Ancient of Lords are trying to train up more bears that deal with and handle those Crypt Fiends. What needs to happen now is damage needs to get racked back up. There is one Nerubian tower already up, and GhostDragon really putting in the pressure now. That Ancient of War had uprooted itself temporarily. That mastery training is nearly done. I believe it is now done, and we should be looking at the Druids of the Claw turning into that bear form and then getting into these fights here. We should also be looking at a Roar as well, as the Ancient of War down to 364 hit points, taking quite a bit of damage. Death Coil Frost Nova onto a still Druid, Druid of the Claw, as the Death Knight now looking to continue to back up here. Crypt Fiends are able to rack up quite a bit of damage. No Staff of Preservation on that Warden. Death Knight now down to 232 hit points. There is a dark, a Sacrificial Pact, not Unholy Aura. This was all timed for this attack. Beautiful, beautiful attack here as we're looking at a Tomb of Relics trying to come in. Crypt Fiend about to get taken down, now getting up to level 4 onto that Warden as both sides are still fighting their way through. Death Knight continuing to fight this battle here. The Crypt Fiends all look like beautiful hit points for that Death Knight, as the Lich does have dual gloves of haste for those auto attack, and the Ancient of War does get taken down. All right, no Death Coil Frost Nova onto that Druid of the Claw right there. Druid of the Claw trying to survive. Druid of the Claw down to 390 hit points, absorbing quite a bit of damage, as the Obsidian statue here, only one, not going to be enough to keep both the hit points and the mana all topped off. No new Obsidian statue being trained up, though, as the Death Knight does have enough mana, and the Lich does have enough mana as well for more blasts. 34 supply compared to 40 over 60. A Spirit Tower now getting added in once more. There is a Death Coil to finish off another Wisp, as slowly but surely these Moonwells are getting taken down. 33 over 40 supply. 2 Moonwells lost, and well, things can go sideways very, very quickly here as the Crypt Fiends are continuing with all of this pressure, racking up damage perhaps onto the Druid of the Claw while in Druid form could open things up for a Death Coil Frost Nova finishing. All right, this Altar of Elders is kind of low-hanging fruit for GhostDragon to try and take down. It's an easy building to destroy, but it's not going to really translate or make that much progress, and it's allowing 3 to buy a bit of time. Tree of Eternity now now done, but no upgrade to Nature's Blessing, as we're looking at the units now running around the map on the far side. All right, Tech to Tier 3 has been started and now nearly done as well, as Dryads are making their way out here onto the battlefield. Wisp could try and get in a couple of detonations. All right, we're going to see, Moonwell's healing that up right there, and that Wisp does escape. 24 hit point Wisp escape, as 3 may be throwing in the towel on this base, but not on the game. All right. Is he building a proxy base? No, he is expanding. He is expanding to his opponent's base here at the 3 o'clock position, while GhostDragon is cleaning up the remaining buildings. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Undead Undead's army is naturally not good at base or taking down bases, as it is mainly heroic damage and piercing damage and maybe some magic damage as well. Warden causing some problems inside the base here, as we now see a retreat, and the Undead says, you know what, I want to engage against your army. Let's go ahead and do exactly that. Take down some Druids of the Claw. Wow, Rejuvenation saving that Druid of the Claw there, as it was down to, well, sub 50 hit points multiple times, and the Druid of the Claws are now looking to retreat back. Surprisingly, though, GhostDragon actually unsummoning all of his forward bases, and now GhostDragon is going to actually be upside down on supply. He's currently sitting at 38 over 30 after unsummoning those two Ziggurats. Rock Golem going to get finished off here. Lich is going to stay at level 2. Death Knight going to stay at level 4. True Shot Aura going to get picked up here. And now Wet is going to end up going down. All right. Goblin Zeppelin still overhead. We can see that this Tree of Life is not yet done, but that little bit of Gambit by 3 to engage against his opponent may actually be worth it, forcing the Undead army away. Now, he was able to force the Undead army away, get him back to his base. The Druid of the Claws were not taken down, and surprisingly, there's only a 2 supply difference between these two armies. Now, we can see another expansion off to the north by 3 as well. And if this does turn into an economic race, well, things could go sideways for GhostDragon, as he may be behind on bases. All right, solo Warden play. Also remember, even though there is only one hero, that Warden is getting bonus experience for any kills. Druids of the Claw quickly realize, hey, this entire forward outpost that the Undead was able to establish has been cleaned up, as the Warden, well, unable to do anything because of the Goblin Zeppelin. All right, Goblin Zeppelin overhead. There's Dust of Appearance. Warden could try and Staff of Teleportation away, and it's gonna go ahead and just blink back off to the north instead, and try to head back home. There is some Moonwells off to the north side here, and they are fairly full. That, I believe, the Warden will be trying to do exactly that. Dust of Appearance is still, well, not yet completed. Well, finally done here, and the Death Knight could use another Dust of Appearance charge once more. Gonna go ahead and blink back around and perhaps cause a little bit more harassment. This this Entangled Gold Mine is completed and now is mining gold. Death Knight stuck in a very weird situation. Do I defend my own base here and allow and start mining by myself, or do I take down my opponent's this ninja expansion, forward expansion, getting in just a little bit of gold back? All right, looks as though he's going to take down that base here, as the Warden wants to try and finish off some of these acolytes. Doesn't look like it will be able to do exactly that. Where is that damage coming from? Is that onto a ghoul? All right, looks like a ghoul was in the Goblin Zeppelin, still taking quite a bit of damage. Off to the north, well, 3 is setting up that expansion, going to be transitioning over as an army of Dryads and Bears taking down the Gargantuan Sea Turtle Creep Camp here. All right, a bit of rejuvenation. We should be looking at a Staff of Teleportation for the Warden to rejoin in on that battle. Gonna go ahead and try and finish off a couple of these acolytes. There's level 5, level 2, or that was a level 2 Shadow Strike, not a level 3 variety. And the delay there actually could be a problem, as do they have the backpack upgrade? They do. All right, so the backpack upgrade on these units, allowing the Potion of Replenishment and the Potion of Greater Healing to be given to the Warden here in just a moment. All right, off to the north, this Entangled Gold Mine never quite finished. The Dryads are going to instead go after this Druid of the Claw Creep Camp. And remember, the Warden is now sitting at level 5. Level 2 Shadow Strike will guarantee a kill onto an Acolyte there, as the Warden tries to back away again. Could Staff of Teleportation back to rejoin in on this fight here? This Druid of the Claw having some bad days, bad damage, gonna be backing up. We should be looking at some rejuvenations onto these units as well. All right, rejuvenation onto a Druid of the Claw in Druid form, so that it recovers more of its overall hit points. New expansion being placed down here at what I'll call the 8 o'clock location, and this is a crazy game so far, where 3 and GhostDragon are definitely playing, well, not your typical game whatsoever. 2 Obsidian statues, a handful of Crypt Fiends, and a, well, Destroyer in the air, trying to clean up the remainder of this base here. Meanwhile, Scroll of Town Portal is going to be exchanged as the Black Citadel are going to take a round of damage, and well, both sides being able to get back home safely. 49 over 40 supply compared to 46 over 50. Warden gonna go ahead, pick up, drop some items, sell them all around. Well, that's are there still items? Yes, there is a wand of mana stealing, a potion of greater healing on that dryad. Talk about the delivery man carrying more items than his life is worth in this stage or point in the game, as we're now looking at dryads, and well, dryads having to deal with crypt fiends, destroyers, and this death knight. Instead, we're going to be going into a quick exchange once more. 3 once again back up to 500 gold, but actually low on lumber. Doesn't have that many workers out here onto the battlefield, and going to try and take down these acolytes again. Another acolyte gets taken down. There's a Scroll of Town Portal, and well, the Warden can just say, you know what, we can continue to exchange all of these units back and a replenishment potion is left behind. I thought that could have been the precious dryad carrying all the potion of greater healing and that wand of mana stealing. That was not the case. And where are those items now? That is, well, where are those items? All right, Shadow Strike onto the Death Knight. Death Knight now trying to retreat back here. Was it on a bear? I don't see it. Okay, I don't see it. I don't see the items anywhere here. All right, trying to find where those items possibly are. Warden continuing to perhaps get into a little bit of harassment. Finds a Shadow Strike and a finish off another Acolyte right there. There goes one. And now going to just go ahead and teleport back. Warden back, regrouping with all of his units. Potion of replenishment, well, not available. Instead, using rejuvenations. The Druids of the Claw getting in plenty of heals across all of these units again and again, as we're looking at saturation at both the 8 o'clock location soon, and perhaps this 12 o'clock expansion as well. More wisps do need to be trained. More moonwells need to be picked up again, as the dryads are continuing all of this hit and run tactics again and again and again. Surprisingly, though, the Warden does not have a Staff of Preservation. The Circlet of Nobility taking up one of those key item slots, a Shadow Strike onto a Ghoul, as the Warden could, put pressure onto that Goblin Zeppelin and deal a bit of damage over time, too. Druid of the Claw about to get taken down. There's that Death Knight getting in that final shot there, and now finding a little bit of cold damage onto another Druid of the Claw. That could get taken down as well. It looks like GhostDragon taking a bit of a lead here as he's able to chase down the enemy army. But remember, income is incredibly important. Who is actually winning out in this fight, as we see another Tree of Life here getting spotted and getting pressured down. I always watch your YouTube, and I decided to make Twitch just to watch you. Thank you. Thank you, Smile. God Smile, as well, the haunted gold mine up here about to get cleaned up again. All right, there goes a Druid of the Claw getting taken down once more. Meanwhile, Dryads continuing to poke down that front door here. The expansion off to the north is getting in a bit of mining. Warden here trying to perhaps go after some of these units, going after a Crypt Fiend here. Shadow Strike onto that Crypt Fiend is racking up quite a bit of damage, as the Warden does need to back away. Is this burrowed Crypt Fiend going to get taken down to 45 hit points? And it does end up falling. This Tree of Life about to fall as well. A little bit of gold able to be mined out. Meanwhile, off to the north, we are entering full saturation mode, as the main gold mines are down to 2 minutes of mining. And, well, not surprisingly, 6 minutes of mining for the Undead, since he has been harassed so much. Warden's army, 42 supply, a Night Elf or Night Elf's Dryads sporadically placed all around the map. I don't see any more Druids of the Claw, surprisingly. And, well, there's one Druid of the Claw there. Where are those potions, or where are those items? Perhaps they were sold. That is my only guess at this point and stage in the game, as the Druid of the Claw actually ventures in a little bit too far forward, and now, well, gonna just feed the experience bars of the Death Knight. Lich and Death Knight both on the cusp of their next level. A double level up would be absolutely disastrous for 3, having to now deal with level 3 Death Coil and Dark Ritual from that Lich. Warden once again hiding in plain sight, dust of appearance, blink in order to get away, and well, trying to shadow meld again, even though it will not work since that dust of appearance is still applied there. Coming back off to the north here, we can still see more mining going on by 3, the expansion being placed down again here. And are we seeing, yes, another expansion being placed down here as well? If you have it, might as well try and expand everywhere you possibly are. If you are turning this into a base race scenario, one acolyte going to get taken down. There it goes. Goblin Zeppelin being forced to try and retreat away. Another Shadow Strike could go down. Dryads are in position. Shadow Strike to try and finish off a ghoul as the obsidian statue is still right there. Rejuvenation coming back across here. Destroyers are going to try and devour magic and eat up that precious rejuvenation. There's a roar before all of them turn back home. And well, trying to chase down some more units. One Crypt Fiend going to get taken down. Burrow not going to be possible. The Warden looking to go after these Crypt Fiends. Slow poison, Shadow Strike onto another one right there. There's a Death Coil for the save as the Warden now being forced to retreat back around. There's a Frost Nova onto that Druid of the Claw, and that Druid of the Claw will end up getting taken down, giving level 4 now to that Lich. Burrowed Crypt Fiend still regenerating hit points. Dryads, Bears trying to retreat back away. No expansions, no additional expansions as of yet, but you know that they are going to be there in the future. Tree of Life getting massively repaired. 2 wisps, 3 wisps, trying to keep them at bay. Frost Nova takes down one of the liches, or one of the wisps, now giving up level 5 to that Death Knight as the expansion does get taken down. All right. Well, it feels like every time an expansion is cut off, 2 others take its place. So, 3 taking a play out of Hydra's playbook, cut off 1 and 2 more replace it. But well, GhostDragon, constantly finding those other 2 and attempting to take them down as well. Warden, once again, going to find some room, go Shadow Strike, go after a ghoul or 2, and that ghoul is going to end up getting taken down. All right, Shadow Meld, it could be available here. There's that Dust of Appearance, Staff of Teleportation in order to get away, and, he'll just regenerate some hit points once again fairly easily. Tree of Life. Trying to be built here at that 3 o'clock spot. It is holding up this destroyer who has 3-0 upgrades. This gold mine nearly entangled as well as a new expansion coming in from 3 once again. 38 supply compared to 43. Guerrilla tactic moves by the Night Elf player constantly popping up where his opponent cannot be everywhere at once. Dual Spirit Towers here. Warden ready to dive on in. Is he going to... blinks back instead. Coming across, seeing that the Death Knight and the Lich is already there. There's a Frost Nova. There's a Death Coil. And the Warden could have some really bad days indeed, trying to escape away. Boots of Speed not going to be... allowing her to trek away quickly. 39 supply over 60 compared to 43 over 50. All right, once the Warden gets to level 6, this graveyard ends up becoming a liability as the Avatar of Vengeance will have plenty of corpses to feed off of. Shadow Strike onto 1 Acolyte already. Warden now just going to go ahead and hide right here. Damage is going to rack back up, I believe. Yep, only needs 4 more kills in order to finish things off. All right, Death Coil onto the Warden. Warden, no Frost Nova. Warden trying to get away. Staff of Teleportation. Warden down to 122 hit points and escapes ever so barely. Gets a Rejuvenation and a Moonwell charge in a time. Crypt Fiends are here down to the south side. Are we going to see the Warden? Yes, going to go ahead and go straight Shadow Strike, trying to finish off one of those Crypt Fiends. Now going after some other targets. Is it going to be able to get up to level 6? I do not think so. It's going to get closer, though. 6 experience side. There's another Shadow Strike, and there's a Death Coil to ensure the save. All right, more repairs underway. There's a Frost Nova onto some Wisps. They're many of them able to jump back inside, just try to get a little bit more gold going as the Warden wants to find a way to get that last 6 experience and get to level 6. Coming back through as well, the Warden wants to save its mana. It knows that it needs that precious mana in order. Oh, there's a rejuvenation. Oh, blinks inside. Shadow Strike finishing off. Is going to take down an Acolyte. Yes, level 6 on the Warden, but Warden used a blink as well, and that did take some precious mana, not allowing enough for that Avatar of Vengeance mana. Well, the limiting factor at this point as a crypt about to get taken down. 46 supply compared to 34, as the Warden has just been spending gold on items every which way that it can. No Staff of Preservation. Well, no, I take it back. Staff of Preservation now available. Gonna go ahead and save that Druid of the Claw and now try and save back more of those units. Staff of Preservation cooldown is incredibly quick as the units are still wandering around here. Expansion off to the north about to be established. Meanwhile, this gold mine here only has about another minute and a half of mining. A new undead gold mine does need to be established, but the Warden and her fast movement ability has been able to keep those units constantly in check. All right, getting the Spirit of Vengeance out would be absolutely key here. The Avatar of Vengeance can, well, it can take quite a bit of damage. There is another Staff of Preservation there, and that Avatar of Vengeance does pretty much count as a second hero at this point. If the Avatar of Vengeance can get into the proper position, it will greatly change the overall pacing of the game, as this Druid of the Claw could get taken down. All right, rejuvenation on the Druid of the Claw. It is trying to stay alive. Crypt Fiends ever so often getting in a volley or two as the Death Coil finishes off the target. All right, Warden, however, back inside the base saying, you know what, let's go ahead and clean up some of these Acolytes. Spirit Towers and that Black Citadel racking up a little bit more damage again. And still, the Avatar of Vengeance has not been able to convert into any Spirit of Vengeances as of late. Death Coil onto the Warden, but the Warden still escapes at 115 hit points, and now getting what will be getting rejuvenated here in just a moment, waiting for that Druid of the Claw to get enough mana. That might take a little bit of time. Druid of the Claw might actually consider drinking the Moonwell and then casting rejuvenation on the Warden. That would be a good use of that mana there. Off to the north, Crypt Fiends looking to, well, take down this expansion here at the 12 o'clock position. 50 over 50 supply by the Undead compared to 43 over 70, with still no clear winner as of yet. Acolytes are constantly getting taken down. Plenty of corpses here. We're looking at, well, the Dryads now getting pushed back, as where is that Warden? Warden is now back out across the battlefield, ready to go once more. This Druid of the Claw purposely staying back this entire time in order to just be a beacon point for the Warden to get some rejuvenation. Plenty of Spirit Towers here to continue to poke back that Warden again and again. Avatar of Vengeance racking up a bit of damage here. Death Knight now showing back up. Death Knight could get a Death Coil off onto that Warden there. Now down to 293 hit points. Dryad's going to get some slow poison damage onto that Death Knight, trying to make sure that it doesn't catch up to that Warden with those boots of speed. Death Knight still, well, however, very, very fast. Warden being forced to leave behind her army, let the general escape in order to live and fight another day, as they are all retreating back. Back on the side here, Tree of Life, well, about to get established here again, and we do not see any haunting of a new gold mine by GhostDragon. Warden now back at home, and this is one of the odd scenarios for Night Elf. Night Elf can translate mana or time into mana, and then mana into hit points and effective kills. Tree of Eternity does have Nature's Blessing. It's going to try and move on out to the north. Meanwhile, the Tree of Life here taking a beating by this Destroyer with those 3-0 upgrades, and will most likely get canceled here in just a moment. Is it? Yes, going to get canceled right there, followed by a detonation. 48 supply compared to 58. 3 actually having the larger army at this point and stage in the game, and also has more workers. 58 supply over 70, as the Tree of Life is now, or Tree of Eternity now making its way off to the north. All right, where is going to go down here? Avatar of Vengeance. Going to perhaps try to build up some Spirit of Vengeance here. However, there is not going to be that many corpses available from this creep camp. Perhaps just trying to pick up some very useful items and some tomes to strengthen themselves. Rock Golem going to get taken down. Item is going to be a Robe of Magi. If that Warden wasn't casting spells enough before, it will definitely be casting spells now, as we're looking at the Forest Troll Shadow Priest and that Forest Troll Berserker both being taken out. Coming back through, Death Coil, Frost Nova onto the Warden. Warden down to 197 hit points. It needs to get a rejuvenation, and well, with an army of bears nearby, able to do exactly that. 3 have been banking a large amount of gold throughout, and now, well, healing back up here, picking up an anti-magic potion in order to, be able to absorb a bit of that damage. Tree of Eternity is taking a beating right now. It does have 7 armor, but that is a large army trying to engage against it. Warden now wants to try and blink on through, get some damage, and here we are, here we go. Do we see Fan of Knives? No Fan of Knives. It's just a Shadow Strike still, no retraining, and there goes a bear quickly getting taken down. Dryads, bears trying to get it within position. The army of the Night Elf actually larger than it would seem. Staff of Preservation teleports it, 10 pixels up, as we should be looking at a couple of rejuvenations here on the Druid of the Claw and also on that Warden. Meanwhile, Crypt Fiends are sticking their head in the sand, trying to stay alive, and live and fight another day. No Dust of Appearance available, as we are looking at the Warden trying to blink in as well, trying to fight. There's another Shadow Meld again, no rejuvenation. Level 5 now on the Lich, as the Warden decides to blink back away. All right, Death Knight reincarnated, had an Anka reincarnation. Staff of Preservation takes him barely out of the fight here. Level 7 now on the Warden, as the units are trying to retreat back away. Damage is racking up. Lich being forced to use a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. And, well, I do not believe GhostDragon actually expected 3's army to be as powerful as it was. We saw that there was a significant supply advantage for 3, and that held out to be true. Druid of the Claw off to the north here needs to get a rejuvenation himself, as the Warden now looks to find some easy targets perhaps to pick off. All right, Death Knight sitting at level 5, Lich sitting at level 5. Warden just simply runs on by, and wow, doesn't realize what is happening here. Haunted Goldmine is now under saturation, 3 out of 5 there, as the Warden, tries to teleport, sees what's going on, and sees a couple of Spirit Towers actually getting unsummoned as well. Tree of Eternity getting repaired back up. This Druid of the Claw off to the north still, perhaps lost sight of it. That one Druid of the Claw, that is a big difference there. One more Druid of the Claw who could be casting up a rejuvenation on himself. Not quite sure what he is waiting for, as the Warden should be dropping that Robe of Magi, drinking up all of that mana goodness, and then heading back out. All right, down to the south side here. Murloc's getting cleaned up. Lich and Death Knight both sitting at level 5, going up against a level 7 Warden. A new expansion being placed down here, as there's only 3 Acolytes mining here, and the Warden's just going to have some easy field day against all of these units. Could easily get some damage racked up. 1 Acolyte down, another Acolyte going to get taken down right there, and a 3rd Acolyte, Shadow Strike, going to go ahead and teleport away. That Acolyte gets taken out, and no more mining at all for the Undead. Death Coil onto the Warden. New Acolyte now transitioning back over. It's taking a little bit of damage over time, as this expansion here at the 8 o'clock position now getting added in. Warden down to 62 hit points, trying to blink away, and it looks like it will be able to live and fight another day. Warden just constantly blinking and blinking and blinking. Level 3 blink. Very mana effective in order to just try and head back home. That Druid of the Claw still there, not getting any better, as it is daybreak right now, but it will be a maximum mana Druid of the Claw soon. All right, Warden going to get a rejuvenation once more. Does he realize that the Druid of the Claw is still sitting off to the north there? Meanwhile, Lich and Death Knight getting gold by trying to clear out creep camps. Picks up a potion of greater healing from these enraged elemental creep camp here. Now, Army is going to engage 60 over 70 compared to 40 over 40. More expansions being placed down, as the Avatar of Vengeance about to move on in. That druid is kind of hidden. Yeah, it's oh no, it is no longer hidden. Here he is joining in on that battle, finally realizing that there was a druid of the claw off to the north there. All right, that druid of the claw, a little bit of extra rejuvenation. There's a roar, and we are going to be getting into that battle here. Avatar of Vengeance did not get the roar ability, and now he is, I believe, spell immune. But Warden could be in trouble, being forced to blink back here. Rejuvenation, trying to heal up quite a bit more. Low hit point, Druid of the Claw, gonna go ahead and get Staff of Preservation back. Warden now gonna try to dive on in, go in from behind, cause a little bit of problems and cause a little bit of chaos here. It does have a potion of lesser invulnerability. There's a death coil onto the Abomination to try to keep it alive. That Abomination, I do not know, does have Disease Cloud and should be spreading Disease Cloud across all of those Dryads. Warden now with that potion of invulnerability, able to stick around for a little while longer. There goes the Abomination, finally taken down as Druids of the Claw are getting cleaned up. All right, Avatar of Vengeance needs to be resummoned as the timer went down already, and now these new corpses need to turn into something as the Crypt Fiends are slowly getting cleaned up again. Lich about to take down another Druid of the Claw here. Obsidian Statue get taken down as the Spirit of Vengeances are going to town and then constantly converting all of these corpses into invulnerable units. All right, all of the Druids of the Claw have been cleaned up though. All Druids of the Claw are now down, and now it almost feels like the Druid of the Claw that was hidden off over here, if it had stayed hidden, could have actually been in a better spot, as that would be a perfect place and a perfect way to try and heal back up all of these units. Spirit of Vengeances could go after the Acolytes, instead chasing after the heroes. The heroes, level 5 here. Warden, however, because there is no Druid of the Claw to offer any healing, cannot dive in on those two low hit point heroes. I say low hit point heroes, but the Death Knight already fully healed up that Lich, and the Death Knight shouldn't be too far behind either. All right, now we do know that the Undead's ultimate ability, thank you for the sub. Love to see some Spirit of Vengeance action. Thank you for the sub. Always definitely helps out the channel. Every little bit does go a long way. Coming back around, well, the Dryads with that Disease Cloud absorbing quite a bit of damage, unable to heal back up. So if you did not know, Disease Cloud deals more damage than Dryads can heal at night even. Therefore, that damage does start to add up very, very quickly. And that's one of the reasons why Undeads go for Abominations and Meat Wagons. Just one or two is enough to offset a lot of damage on those Dryads who try to do those hit and run tactics. At this point in stage in the game, though, 3 has a very strong lead, supply advantage and a base advantage, 3 bases to 1. But the Undead heroes, the 2 level 5 heroes, could nuke down and cause problems for that level 8 Warden. Level 8 Warden does now have Fan of Knives. Probably won't be used, though, as it isn't that precious of an ability. And now we could be looking at a couple of these buildings all getting cleaned up. All right. Nope. Are we going to see? Yeah, the graveyard is right here. This is the perfect place for the Avatar of Vengeance to make some Spirit of Vengeances and cause problems, force an engagement while the army is there. But then the timing of the Avatar of Vengeance was perhaps a little bit suspect. The Avatar of Vengeance, its cooldown is about to be, refreshed. So it doesn't want to use up those corpses for just a temporary ability and moment. All right, Shadow Strike is going to go down onto any of those Acolytes. No, Shadow Meld instead, preventing mining. Death Knight does have Dust of Appearance, and the Warden could have a very bad day. Down to 352 hit points, and now escaping away. We could see a Death Coil Frost Nova. There's a blink again, as the Warden is attempting to outrun his pursuers, or her pursuers. Rejuvenation, ready. The Claw continuing to give some big damage. Warden about to drop that Avatar of Vengeance. Timing is perfect. Run on in, get into that graveyard, get some Spirit of Vengeances out, and now turn the home field advantage against your opponent, and it will win this base race. Not quite sure why the Avatar of Vengeance isn't grabbing any of these corpses here. This is the perfect opportunity to do exactly that, as we're looking now at the Tree of Eternity. well, taking quite a beating. These other two bases here are still mining pretty freely as we are about to see the Black Citadel fall. All right, so Black Citadel is about to fall here, down to 300, down to 200 hit points. You can see a lot of that damage getting racked up here. Warden now stopping the mining at the 3 o'clock position, trying to take down these acolytes. And I'm still, finally, Spirit of Vengeances are joining out in on the battle. 17 to 21 piercing damage, which would have been helpful. And well, helped with the overall time crunch. Zeppelin with 5 acolytes there. Warden still hiding in this position here. Going to go ahead and blink away. There's a Shadow Strike trying to take down that burrowed Crypt Fiend. And the burrowed Crypt Fiend, well, will be revealed and be taken down. All right, another unit going to get taken down here. Spirit of Vengeances are getting ready to engage and act here. Dryads need to get away from those Crypt Fiends. Spirit of Vengeances could continue to engage against the remaining buildings. Warden is in position, perhaps a Shadow Strike, as the Death Knight does he have Animate Dead? No, he does not have Animate Dead. He has Unholy Aura in order to chase down these units just a little bit faster. Druid of the Claw about to get taken down. Warden is going to use the Staff of Preservation, or was there already one used earlier? Can't quite tell where. Well, that was the Staff of Preservation cooldown being used right there. Warden, once again, finding more targets, trying to take down more acolytes, and now just hiding herself in that position again. 42 supply compared to 64. 3 is trying to outlast his opponent, as the Dryads could easily end up getting cleaned up again. There goes another Dryad once more. Lich does sit at level 5, and once the Lich gets to level 6, well, Death and Decay open up, and then suddenly the Undead have the ability to take down buildings, tightly clustered buildings in rapid succession. Avatar Vengeance is going to try to bring up some Spirit of Vengeances, but as soon as the Avatar dies, those spirits die as well. Meanwhile, Warden looking to shut down this Haunted Gold Mine here. Haunted Gold Mine taking a little bit of a beating, but still sticking around. These bases are still freely mining once more, and the amount of gold that 3 has mined throughout this game must be significantly higher than his opponent, as we're about to see this Haunted Gold Mine taken down. Acolytes, will they be able to re-haunt a gold mine? That is a question. They can always unsummon a building and try to resummon later, as a Dryad gets teleported into the fray and hands of another Crypt Fiend. Death Knight now trying to head back off to the north here. There goes another Dryad. That's going to get taken down. Level 6 now on the Lich, as we're still dancing around the back here. Warden sitting at level 8 after all this time, going up against 2 level 6 heroes, and it now feels like the Undead is starting to gain a bit of momentum. Army size is still better for the Night Elf, but the Crypt Fiends are just constantly getting into position here again and again. Avatar of Vengeance should be bringing up Spirit of Vengeance, is trying to take down all of these buildings. Don't go after the graveyard. Go after the other remaining buildings first. You want those corpses to constantly be generated to try and train up more units. This a hit point is a hit point on a building, regardless of which one it is. If it is turning into a base race. Warden now trying to go up against the Death Knight. What is the Warden doing? Warden gets taken down by a Death Coil. That seemed to be a falling asleep at the wheel situation. But now the buildings are just, well, in duress here. All right, we're looking at Bears and Dryads trying to finish things off here. Meanwhile, down to the south, the Warden, or the Death Knight, is trying to take down this Avatar of Vengeance. As these Spirit of Vengeances slowly disappear, you better believe that the Avatar of Vengeance wishes that there was more corpses available out here on the battlefield. They're just simply not there, as the Spirit of Vengeance could have tried to summon up more to take down or add more damage to these remaining buildings. No reason for these Spirit of Vengeances to be following the Avatar. They are completely invulnerable to damage and could have still racked up more damage against those buildings. Meanwhile, well, we saw what 3 was planning for all this time. An army of chimeras are now in the air, but they do not have the siege damage. What is going on here? They do not have the siege damage upgrade against the buildings, which is what they really need. Crypt Fiends, do they have web? I would not believe it either, as the chimeras are now looking to retreat back. Chimeras trying to fall back here. Are they going to end up getting destroyed and taken down by the Crypt Fiends and the Lich? So much damage getting racked up as, well, they're finally getting webbed down here, and this could be, well, the turnaround here. Trying to fight things back around. There's a fan of knives. There's the chimeras getting in that damage, and the abomination going to get cleaned up so quickly. Goblin Shredder going to get cleaned up nicely as well, and now 53 supply compared to 34. Chimera is getting cleaned up so quickly as the Crypt Fiends are starting to fall too. Fan of Knives, only the level 1 variety. Another Crypt Fiend falls. Avatar of Vengeance popping back out. And 3 is continuing to rack up more damage here. 22 over 10 supply. And that was most likely going to be the game as the Chimeras are finishing off the last remaining units. However, Chimera, Staff of Preservation saves one. Is another Chimera going to end up getting taken down? Shadow Strike onto the Death Knight. Death Knight now trying to retreat back away. Lich finishes off another Chimera. Level 9 on the Warden. And with that, Hidden Pants or 3 is victorious. GhostDragon leaves. A marathon of a game here between Night Elf and Undead. So many back and forth plays with a spectacular ending. Overall resource score in the end, over 10,000 gold mining difference. Almost mined twice as much as opponent when you factor in the gold lost to upkeep. For that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.